All right, good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. Let's do a quick sound check. Garth, Andrew, Miss Lorna. All right, y'all, good to go. So we got a jam-packed day here today. We just got the CPI report, and so far a pretty good reaction. We got the NQ up about just shy of 1%, which of course will be a brand new all-time high. We got the S&Ps up about 0.7, and then the weaker parts of the market have been the Dow and the IWM. So for the YM here, YM up about 0.6. Again, not my favorite chart, but we'll take the pop. And then the rut. Wow, look at the rut. Look at the little guy go, up almost 3%. So pretty good reaction so far. And then this afternoon we have the Fed. We got to get through the Fed. Got to get through today. And then tonight after the close, we have earnings here for Broadcom. And right now, Broadcom is one of my favorite setups. Daily squeeze just fired. And then over here on the weekly chart, we have a beautiful weekly squeeze. So if earnings go good, they gap it up. Who knows? Maybe they do a stock split, a la NVIDIA. That squeeze can take Broadcom towards 1,600. So we'll see how that goes. And then for those of y'all in my mastery, we got the calls here on AI. And for now, at least, AI is gapping up about 2.5% to 3%. So if you're in my room, make sure you cancel the working exit order we have. Cancel that order at the open. We should be able to make a bigger profit with the gap up here. Not too shabby. Now for the cash markets, and again, I think you want to wait until the Fed. So a bit more of a discussion for tomorrow. But the S&Ps and the QQQ, they've got some ammunition here. A+ daily squeeze for the SPX. A+ weekly squeeze for the QQQ. Weekly squeeze on the Qs. That has a target of about 480-ish. And that daily squeeze there for the S&Ps, we have a target of about, we'll call it 5450. 5450-ish. Now let me get my my spreadsheet here. Let's see, Big 3 score sheet. And we'll take a quick look at this here. The rut up 3%, man. We'll take it. All right, spreadsheet, open up here. All right, here we go. So, based on my scoring system, with the best possible score being a positive 12, we're taking the scores from the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, 1 hour, and the 30-minute, and then we're getting a total score. So strongest to weakest for the indices, QQQ, perfect 60 out of 60. The SPX gets a 58. The Dow got a -4. And this is all as of last night. Dow gets a -4. RSP gets a -10, and the IWM gets a -17. I'd like to think today the IWM and the Dow, they should improve a little bit. And then for the sectors here, XLK gets a perfect 60, SMH with a 54, XLC 51, and XLV 45. And then a pretty big drop off from there. Real estate, -22. Industrials and financials, a -19. Point being, I want to go find the A+ setup in the tech name, in the semiconductor name, maybe a little bit of communications and healthcare. Until things change, I would avoid sectors like energy, transports, financials, industrials, etc. And then for the big dogs, Broadcom, the perfect 60. Apple had a huge day yesterday, 58 out of 60. Microsoft 56, Meta 56, Google 53. Then you've got Tesla and AMD. Not the best. Tesla's a negative 50. I'm not going to buy Tesla. AMD a negative 21. I'm not going to buy AMD. I want to find an A plus setup in a Broadcom, in an Apple, a Microsoft, in a Meta. And then on a bigger scale here, we've got Merck, Regeneron, AMAT, KLAC, Broadcom, General Motors, Lilly, First Solar, Micron, LRCX, Costco, and a few more. So the theme for now is pretty simple. Tech stocks, semiconductors, little bit of healthcare, little bit of communications, and a little bit of solar with FSLR and EMPH. So with that being said, few names here off the watch list. We already did Broadcom. We have the daily squeeze setting up here on LRCX. Perfect score, trend, structure, momentum. All the fixings for a push towards 1050. Now, better yet here for LRCX, we also have a 2-day, a 3-day, and a weekly squeeze. Now, they're not perfect just yet. If LRCX can trigger a weekly buy signal, and it's pretty damn close, then I think you play for a path towards $1,100. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on Lamb. And then we've got AMAT. A plus daily squeeze here for AMAT. I like the setup. I don't love the entry. I can work a much better risk reward buying that setup little closer to 220-ish. Little closer to my 21 EMA. So therefore, I don't think I would chase it up here, but nonetheless, a great setup. Then you've got Micron, A plus on the daily, and also A plus here off of the 3-day time frame. Now, keep in mind, one A plus setup, that's pretty good. If you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 of them at once, that tends to make for the best moves. Good example from a week ago, T-Mobile. T-Mobile had a 2-hour, a 4-hour, a daily, a 2-day, a 3-day, and a weekly A plus squeeze. 2-hour fires, then the 4-hour, then the daily, then the 3-day, then the weekly. And from there, you get that huge push. Very nice action from that T-Mobile. What else we got for you here today? XLK. Brand new weekly squeeze, brand new A plus setup. That would all call for a move towards 230-ish. Amazon on the weekly, that calls for a move towards 200. And then you got Microsoft here. This should become A plus this morning. Good looking daily squeeze, and then a little bit bigger picture. They've also got that weekly squeeze setting up. Now we've got the trend. We've got the structure. We got to get that momentum. If they can take that MACD line, get that positive cross, then we get the buy signal. Then this becomes an A plus setup. Then I think there's a path here towards 450 to 460. The pattern's a little bit similar to the pattern you had back here. Pulls back to the 21. It prints a brand new weekly squeeze. Trend is bullish. Structure is bullish. When you finally get that momentum cross, off goes Microsoft. So I think as early as potentially today or tomorrow, we could have a beautiful weekly squeeze here. And then we got Google in a daily squeeze. Not bad, not perfect. Good trend, good structure. They got to get that momentum. They got to get the big three. But as a general statement, I like all of them. I like Google. I like the Amazon weekly squeeze. I like the squeezes in Microsoft. I like Broadcom, LRCX, Micron, AMAT. Major thing to keep in mind, it's all kind of the same idea. Meaning what I wouldn't go out and do is buy Broadcom, and then you're buying some AMAT, and then you're buying some Micron, and you're buying some LRCX. It's kind of all the same idea. I think you pick your favorite, whichever one offers the best entry. And then, as a general statement, if one of them works in a big fashion, they should all work out pretty good. So don't do what I did back in the day. The year was 2016. I put the squeeze on my chart for the first time, and boom, here comes the financial sector. XLF, BAC, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, Schwab, they all had nice daily squeezes. So, for diversification's sake, I bought some BAC, I bought some Goldman, I bought some XLF. I basically put like half of my entire account into nothing but the financials. To my benefit, it all worked out in a big fashion. But the opposite could have happened just as easily. So pick your favorite, and you rock with that one. And then I've got to figure out today, do I want to do anything on Broadcom here before tonight's earnings? Um, wow, they're gapping up to 1,500. Oh, Broadcom, you stinker. 1,500 at the open. You know what? I think I got to avoid it for now. I love that weekly squeeze. But if I'm buying the thing at 1,500, is that a great entry? Not really. Much better entry would be something like 1,350, 1,300. So yeah, I'm going to be a good boy. I'm not going to chase it. And I think for today, I might take a shot here at Microsoft after the Fed. But all right, folks, that's all I got for you. Focus on tech, focus on the semiconductors. And then solar is a little interesting. We got FSLR here, beast mode, and that'll gap up to about 305 ish. I'm not going to chase that one. And then you've got EMPH, gapping up to 140. So it's one of those mornings. If you got it, great. If you don't got it, you might have to wait for a better entry. Don't go chasing waterfalls, as they say. And then healthcare, you got Lilly Bell, LLY, another beast. I don't really have a setup here. All right, no weekly squeeze, no daily squeeze. There's a 1 hour squeeze setting up, but with a gap up, they probably fired that squeeze at the open. And then you've got MRK. So I had some MRK going back about a few weeks ago. It broke down. I sold my calls, and a pretty good rebound here. Brand new buy signal, back above that 21 EMA, and I like the weekly squeeze. Come on, Toss. Can you behave for one day, Toss? It's got a nice weekly squeeze. But on my end, it'll be a tech and a semiconductor thing. All right, folks. So, any questions, anything you want to take a look at, I have got you covered. And then we'll get through the Fed. We'll see what's up with Broadcom earnings. I've got my webinar tonight. And then we got game 3 of the NBA Finals. It's an exciting Wednesday. Let me go check my AI real quick. I'll get caught up in the chat. AI. Come on, Toss. Anybody else's Toss really slow? Yeah, nice move there. All right, what do you got, guys? We'll try, Ed. We'll try. we'll see if Kyrie can show up tonight. What do I got for crowd? Let's go check out crowd. Crowd grades out nicely. Trend, structure, momentum, buy signals. The perfect score of 12. Now, with that being said, it's nowhere near my daily buy zone. All right, we're nowhere near our 21 EMA. If we go check the weekly, all right, so we have a weekly squeeze. If you have calls here, I think you're in good shape. If I'm looking for a brand new position, it's not really my ideal entry. I want to find that A plus setup. I want to buy those calls or sell those puts. I want to take my entry, ideally as close to my 21 EMA as possible. And what that allows me to do is work a really good risk reward. So, for conversation's sake, imagine I bought some crowd off the weekly squeeze around 325. From there, if crowd breaks that 21 EMA, I'm probably taking that trade off. So, if I buy the thing around 325, I can take my exit around, call it 300. I've got 25 bucks of risk on the equity. In exchange for what? A push towards the $400 target. So equity for equity, I'm risking about 25 bucks to make about 70, 75. Now think of that kind of risk reward over the course of 15, 20, 25 trades. If I'm wrong, the stock goes against me to the tune of about 20, 25 bucks. If I'm right on the idea, it works in my favor to the tune of about 70 to 80 bucks. If I can nail that kind of entry for 25 trades in a row, even with a 40, 50% win rate, I can be highly profitable. Makes sense? So if you got the calls here, I think you're in good shape. Got a little gap up coming to about 390. But if I wanted a fresh trade, I'd have to hold off for now and wait for a pullback, if such a thing could exist in this market. Yeah, Ed, good work, man. Good work. Yeah, no KP tonight. I'm a little nervous about that. I'm a little bit nervous about that. Will the webinar be recorded? Yes, they will always be recorded. And you can find the recording on the Simpler YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, and then I'm sure they'll post the replay somewhere on the website. So it'll definitely be recorded. Okay, Claudia, you got some calls on Lily? I like it, Miss Claudia. I like it. Got about a $7 or $8 gap up coming your way this morning. Let me change this back real quick. Yeah, nice setup. I like it. I like it. Yeah, Andrew. I think it might be time to swallow that pill. We missed Broadcom. We missed the Broadcom bus. Yeah, gap up to 1,500. Man, the one that got away, my friend. The one that got away. Netflix on the 4 hour. Yeah, 5 minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour for Netflix. Now, what I would love to see, I'm not saying we're going to get it, but what I would love to see will be a brand new daily squeeze here for Netflix. It's got a great daily chart. Big push, pulls back to our 21 EMA, got a little consolidation going, but it grades out perfectly. Buy signal, trend, structure, momentum, above that trailing stop. If they could crank out a new daily squeeze, I think that'd be a nice setup. Would love to see that. We'll see if I get my wish. All right, folks on YouTube, good morning to all of you. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, you. And yeah, yep, the webinar will be recorded and shared, Mr. Bill. All right, my man Russ. Russ has PAYX. Paychecks, right? Weekly 3-day, 2-day squeeze. Let's go take a look at the weekly. Yeah, the weekly looks pretty solid. Squeeze, buy signal, all of the pretty colors. Now earnings comes up on the 27th. So is that next week? Not next week, but the following week. So 2 Thursdays from now. The question would be, is 2.5 weeks enough time to catch a move towards the 135 target? That might be cutting it a little bit close. But I think, if anything, it's enough time to buy some calls and try to play for a short-term push off that weekly squeeze. They might not take it to the 135 target, but they might push it enough for a nice profit before the announcement. Stratical Rick, good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for coming through, folks. Ian, what is my average position size per trade? Okay, Ian, great question. So, if I've got, say, a $10,000 account, to make the math easy, excuse my terrible drawing skills. If I've got a $10,000 account, me personally, my average size is about 5% of my account balance. I think for a lot of folks, anywhere from 2 to 2.5 to 5%, somewhere in there you can find that sweet spot. On my end, if my typical size is 5%, what that means is on a $10,000 account, when I open up my next trade, my max loss would be about $500. Now, I'm not going to sit there and just take the max loss, ideally, but I'm position sizing to accept the max loss. Let me see. I'll give you guys a quick sneak peek here of the webinar. Give me 1 second here. All right, so give you a quick sneak peek. The goal should be steady compounding. Now, my goal is steady and aggressive. So for the 20 A+ trades I did, all right, 15 wins, 5 losses. Let's say I had a $10,000 account and I took every one of those trades at a 2.5% risk. All right, so I start my count with 10,000 bucks. I take those 20 trades. I'm risking 2.5% per trade. At the end of the 20, my account is up about 2,000 bucks. And I'm rounding up here by 0.02%. So again, to get you thinking in terms of compounding, if I can keep on working similar numbers, my $10,000 account turns into a $12,000 account. Then on my next series of 2025 trades, I'm starting off with 12,000. I'm risking 2.5% per trade, so 300 bucks. If I can perform the same, at the end of that series of trades, my account is about 14,400. I start over, 14,400. I am now risking $360 per trade. At the end of that series of trades, I can be in that $17,000 neighborhood. I do it again. I'm now risking $430 per trade. At the end of the fourth series of trades, my account is about 20,000. If I want to be a bit more aggressive, if I'm going to risk 5%, 10,000 goes to 14, 14 goes to 9 and change, or 19 and change, 19 and change goes to 27, 27 and change goes to 38. And again, I'm just trying to get you thinking in terms of compounding. When we take our series of 2025 trades, it's not always going to be a 75% win rate. The average win won't always be 64%. The average loss won't always be 33%. But if we can put ourselves somewhere in that neighborhood, series after series after series of trades, we can compound pretty steadily. So whether it be 2% per trade, 5% per trade, you can crank out some pretty good growth. With the goal being, I'm not getting caught up on the results of one given trade. My only goal is put together a good series, 2025 trades, shooting for good net results when the series is all over. So more on that tonight. Yeah, Claudia, now for a guy like JC, and granted, JC's got a big boy account, right? He's got a really big account. The goal for all of us, my goal at some point is get my account big enough to the point where every week I can wire out automatically 2 to 2.5%. Right? I'm paying myself every week. And at the end of the month, the goal is I've made enough to not only pay myself, but also grow the account. And of course, when JC is doing that on a $1 million+ account, that's just super motivating, right? That is the end goal. That is the end goal. I want to get me a kangaroo. Austin, you're going to be up about 100% on AMAT at the Open. Good work. Good work. Yeah, you found a great setup. More importantly, Austin, you found a great setup in one of the strongest sectors in the market. That's how it's done. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Okay, Mike R, the white dots on my chart, and we're going to push that in an update here in the next couple of weeks. The white dot means you have an A+ setup. Simple as that. So the benefit of that is we can take a name like Broadcom and we can go look at previous examples of the A+ setup. So check out the weekly chart. All right, we had one back here in November, December. That one worked. We had one back here in 2023. That one worked. And we had one all the way back here as well. So it tells you, hey, you have a current A+ setup, but then we can also go back and study the previous examples. which I think is pretty helpful. All right, guys, couple more here, and we'll call it a morning. Okay, Austin, you have the 225, 240, 250 unbalanced call fly. Yeah, let me take a look for you. Center strike of 240, we're gapping up to 235-ish. Okay, so Austin, here's what I would do. For sake of conversation, let's just say at the open on AMAT, you have a $1,000 open profit. Just to make the math easy. $1,000 open profit. Here's what I would do. I would take the profit. I would book the $1,000. I would then turn around, take a fraction of that $1,000 profit. It could be $100, it could be $200, it could be $500. Take a fraction of that profit, open up a brand new trade. You can open up another unbalanced call fly. You can buy some deeper out the money calls. For the sake of conversation, let's say you take $300 of your $1,000 profit, and you now open up a brand new trade. Now you're in a great position. What's your worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, AMAT gets hammered. In between trade number 1 and trade number 2, you have a $700 net profit. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you take that $300, you open up a brand new trade, and AMAT just keeps on pushing. 230, 240, 250. Now you're making that much more. All the while knowing no matter what, you'll have at the very least a $700 net profit. That'd be my thinking there, especially before the Broadcom earnings. That'd be my thinking. Hey, good morning, Al. AMD's a little bit iffy. You know, compare the daily chart here for AMD to the daily chart for AMAT. AMD gets a score of 3 out of 12. AMAT gets a score of 12 out of 12. AMAT has an A+ setup. AMD does not. Neutral trend, neutral structure. I think until AMD improves a little bit, I'd focus a bit more on the AMATs, the Broadcoms, the Microns, the LRCXs of the world. Although I do think at some point, AMD could play some major catch-up. At some point. Yeah, my pleasure, guys, as always. All right, Essentials folks, any other questions? Yeah, Ed, they all work on TradingView with the exception of the watch list columns here. Unfortunately for now, nothing we can do on TradingView as far as the watch list columns. But everything else, yes. The big three squeeze histogram, the labels, the buy and the sell signals, the multi-time frame labels, all of that works on TradingView. But all right, y'all, I'm going to let you go here. Got to get ready to take my profits here on AI. And yeah, have a great Wednesday. Be patient, be disciplined. Got to get through the Fed. Got to get through Broadcom earnings, and then I got the webinar tonight. So come hang out tonight if your schedule allows. Bring a cold drink, and we'll have a good time. And as always, I'll make sure I send you home from the webinar with a few goodies. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon. Adios. And yeah, Rick, the trailing stop is also on TradingView as well. Yes, sir.